Okay, let's begin then. This is our usual Saturday evening session. It's 5 o'clock, just a minute past 5 o'clock. We are on the 30th of November 2024 and coming to an end of the month. We have an end of the week and the last month of the year going forward, starting Monday morning. So how are the markets playing out? What has happened over the last week, and how should we strategize and position ourselves? As always, the first few minutes I'm going to talk about the Nifty, Bank Nifty and the sectors so that we get some clarity where should we focus. Step number one, looking at Nifty from the weekly point of view. The zone that we had spoken about, and for some reason this zone has shifted a little bit down. There you go. Yes, the zone that we had drawn and we have spoken about, I think that's because it should be fine. Is holding well, right? We had a confluence of various parameters there. The overall structure, the 52-week linear regression, channels, slope, and the structure that we use from our momentum indicator are all more or less okay, positive as of now. We've had a 12% kind of a sell-off one way, not a good thing. Couple of macroeconomic parameters are questionable, inflation, couple of wars happening here and there, and ceasefire. So a lot of things are happening. Amidst all of those things, we have corrected 12% one way. So bounce back to banta hai, right? Isn't it? And we did get a bounce back. And it's always a good thing. In fact, it's a brilliant thing to get the bounce back from levels which you had anticipated from. Which means this is good. So whatever you were anticipating, the market's playing out. But we need to deal with some choppiness and volatility. What's the view on the Nifty? The view on the Nifty, if we talk from an intermediate to long-term point of view, it's still okay. Okay. The weekly trend momentum has gone down. This first leg 12% cut can be the first leg of multiple legs on the downside. Possible. That only time will tell us. That only if geopolitical or macroeconomic parameters continues to weaken, worsen, then it's possible that will unfold. As of now, we should not be in too much of a hurry to start shopping in the market when it comes to an intermediate time frame. If we take a look at the daily time frame, we have a bounce back. All right, not bad. The bounce back did come with a gap up, which has been very well taken care of day before yesterday. This gap is closed. And I think I mentioned that generally when you see a gap has been formed, and if within the next 2 or 3 trading sessions, if prices comes down to test the gap, उस gap को check करने के लिए या close करने के लिए नीचे आता है. If this niche aana, this down move, if this down move is a retracement after the rally, then within the next 2 or 3 days it should rally. Matlab, then we have a beautiful rally on the upside, definitely. So if you are expecting bullishness from the overall Nifty, benchmark Nifty, तो ये Friday का session था. This was last Friday. I would max give 2 more days, Monday, Tuesday तक इसका breakout होना ही चाहिए. Or else it will not be able to sustain, because the resistances over there is very, very obvious, and we may see follow through weakness. So we are in a situation where the trend is improving, the momentum, short-term momentum is improving, the overall structure of the daily charts are not that great. So it is going to go through struggle. अगर आप daily chart देख के trade करते हो, fasten your seatbelts, you will face choppiness, volatility. You will see very stock specific behavior. In fact, yesterday I did not see any particular sector behavior. So very stock specific here and there, bouts of buying, bouts of selling. That's the kind of market we have to go through. As a momentum trader, or as any short-term trader, आपका mentality going forward next week ये होना चाहिए कि quick trades लेके देके निकल जाना. Do not get greedy and do not sit on your positions. Do not sit on your short-term positions for too long. आपको लेना है एज अ शॉर्ट टर्म ट्रेडर, आपको शॉर्ट टर्म प्रॉफिट दिखता है, यू शुड बी ऑफ द माइंडसेट दे दो, टेक द प्रॉफिट्स एंड गेट अवे. दिस इज नॉट द मार्केट टू ट्रेंड फॉलो ऑन द अपसाइड एज ऑफ नाउ. हाँ, अगर 24,600 700 के ऊपर ब्रेकआउट मिल जाता है, सस्टेन होता है, then if we say okay, this is the first leg, this is the retracement, this is going to be the third leg, 1 2 3, this is the third leg, then there are chance the third leg, the third wave is always slightly longer. तो यहाँ पे थोड़ा बहुत ट्रेंड फॉलोइंग करने का मौका मिल सकता है. उसका क्लैरिटी नहीं है. एज ऑफ नाउ वी डोंट हैव दैट क्लैरिटी. वी हैव क्लैरिटी दैट द मार्केट इज गोइंग टू स्टे वॉलेटाइल. there's no doubt about it. So if the market is going to stay choppy and volatile and selective, I have to be on my toes all the time. If you're a trader, be on your toes. If you're on your investor, be on your backyard. बैठे रहिए या सो जाइए, कुछ मत कीजिए. ठीक है? So it's very important to strategize. Every markets are not to be treated the same way. ठीक है? So Nifty, we need a move above the previous 4-day highs. That's the upside. And for downside, very important is the expiry day Thursday's low. Crucial. By the look of the smaller time frames, things are weakening. Things have given you a bounce back. We like to call this a thunder short setup. But Monday, Tuesday तक अपने को clarity मिल जाएगा. If the market goes up, ideally we would like to see participation from large cap, Nifty 50 large cap heavyweights. We would like to see Reliance, we would like to see Larsen, SBI, HDFC Bank, support from these guys. Or else it will be difficult to sustain if the move is led by small and mid caps. अब sectoral indices पे जाते हैं. Quickly एक बार mid caps देख लेते हैं. So this is the mid cap index. You can see that things are weak from the weekly perspective. Daily has given a bounce back. If you ask me, typically these kind of formations that I see on my charts generally lead to a short-term correction. I do not have the clarity to say कि ये तो वापस 54,000 आएगा, उतना clarity नहीं है. But 55,000 तक एक short-term 50% retracement of this move generally ऐसे formations में दिखते हैं. So be little careful going forward next week if you're long only. Okay. So this is the CNX small cap index. Every time it has given in the recent past, a sharp bounce back. Clearly you can see that the small caps have fallen sharp. The retracements are also very sharp. So for all you know, if you get a setup of a long trade or a short trade and you check, अरे ये तो small cap है, right? You know your trade is, you should trade for 3 to 5 days max from the daily chart because वो retrace हो रहा है. How's the chart right now? Weekly, not that great. Daily, a bit of overbought reading. Generally, ये सब charts, as I said with the mid cap, generally ये previous rally का 50% expect किया जा ही सकता है. It's not looking very, very bullish if you ask me. 500, just like the Nifty, is consolidating within Thursday's outside bar. CNX 500 is a broader market. So Thursday's range is important for this particular index. Right? अब आते हैं Bank Nifty, private sector banks, PSU banks and CNX Finance. Bank Nifty, the most important sector, means the most interesting chart. The most sectoral, amongst the sectoral charts, this is the most interesting one. A lot of things are happening. What are these lot of things? आपको क्या दिखता है सर कि आप इतने you sound so excited. So I've marked this horizontal zone and I'll call it resistance. Come on, I can call this resistance. You will agree with me. Multiple times the index have come close to this 52,400 के आसपास and it has reacted, right? If you track the markets real time, अगर आप markets में real time track करते हो, तो Thursday के trade पे जो expiry था, you would have experienced in the morning, the first, I would say 90 minutes to 2 hours, a beautiful, nice move, 52,800, everything was looking too good. Beautiful, high of the day, strong buying. झट से अचानक, by the time it's afternoon, धक करके, especially Bank Nifty, it gave up all its gains and created a huge outside bar, higher high and lower low. Now, outside bars are something I hate when I'm in a trade. जब मेरे पास एक सौदा है और वो सौदा एक आउटसाइड बार बनाता है, आई डोंट लाइक इट, बिकॉज वो मुझे क्लैरिटी नहीं देता है क्योंकि वो हायर हाई भी बना के बैठा है और लोअर लो भी बना के बैठा है, किस तरफ जाने वाले हो. बट आउटसाइड बार, अगर सोचिए मेरे पास बैंक निफ्टी नहीं है एंड आई एम लुकिंग एट दिस आउटसाइड बार, देन हमेशा आप आउटसाइड बार के साथ उसके क्लोज को देखिएगा. And on Thursday, the Bank Nifty's close was towards the afternoon. Of course, towards the afternoon ही होता है close, but towards the lowest point of the day. So this outside bar turned out to be more bearish as it finished the day. Will you agree with me? And then on Friday, that is kal, it gave a bump up. It gave a bounce back. This bounce back is not big enough. It's not even crossed 50% of the outside bar zone. I like to call these bars decoy bars. It's a name that I have for these kind of bars. Now what do they say? They say खुदा ना खास्ता there's something. अगर Friday का लो तोड़ देता है, then we are expecting downsides. There's no second thought about it. And this zone breakout is extremely important for the market to sustain. So again, you have a situation when you're not too sure. The index did bounce back. The index did gap up, the momentum was picking up, it gave a breakout, the breakout failed, the larger time frames are struggling a little bit, nothing great. So, this is a situation in the market jahan pe you have a dash of positivity and equal amount of dash of negativity also, which creates ambiguity. It's not a beautiful one-way complacent bull market or beautiful one-way volatile down market, ऐसा नहीं है. सो यहाँ पे आपको SBI गेन करते हुए दिखेगा, कोटक बैंक गिरते हुए दिखेगा, या फिर HDFC बैंक चढ़ते हुए दिखेगा एंड एक्सिस बैंक गिरते हुए दिखेगा. सो यू विल नॉट हैव क्लैरिटी इवन विद इन द प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक्स, इवन विद इन द PSU बैंक्स, ये हो क्या रहा है. इट्स वी हैव टू बी वेरी वेरी स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक. सो व्हाट इज द नेट आउटकम? नेट आउटकम इज द सेम थिंग. बी वेरी वेरी केयरफुल. अगर बाजार मंडे ट्यूसडे तक ये लो निकाल देता है नीचे की तरफ, आई एम क्वाइट श्योर इट्स गोइंग टू रिट्रेस एटलीस्ट 50% ऑफ दिस फॉल. एटलीस्ट 50%, 51, 200, 51 तक इजीली लेके आ जाएगा. दैट्स ऑन द डाउन साइड. हाउएवर ऑन द अपसाइड, इफ द मार्केट अटेम्प्ट्स 52, 400, 500 अगेन, इट इज क्रूशियल. जहां से उसने थर्सडे के दिन पे अपना माल खाली करके नीचे आया था, ऊपर लेके गया, सबको चढ़ाया और फिर खाली कर दिया, दैट लेवल नीड्स टू बी टेकन आउट. As long as this level is comfortably, confidently not taken out, it will be difficult to create a directional clarity with confidence. ये market है ऐसा that we don't have strong clarity, we do not have strong conviction किस तरफ जाने वाला है. 3 दिन ऊपर तो 3 दिन नीचे है तो है. That is how we have to deal. We cannot expect the market to rally days after day on the upside or fall. अगर ऐसा बाजार है तो हमें भी वैसे ही डील करना पड़ेगा, राइट. सो प्लीज चेंज योर पर्सपेक्टिव व्हेन द मार्केट हैज चेंज्ड. हाउ कैन आई सिट ऑन टू द सेम ब्रेकआउट ट्रेड्स विद द सेम स्टॉप लॉस रूल, द सेम टारगेट रूल which I was using a year back, 6 months back, but the market conditions were different. I do get these questions in our classes. You've seen this. अगर सीजन चेंज होता है और आपके गर्म कपड़े बाहर निकल रहे हैं बिकॉज द विंटर इज कमिंग, सेम थिंग, द मार्केट्स आर चेंजिंग, यू हैव टू चेंज. ठीक है, योर स्ट्रैटेजी नीड्स टू चेंज. सो बैंक निफ्टी विल बी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग बिकॉज इट हैज द हाइस्ट वेटेज एंड स्टॉक्स लाइक आई बैंक, एक्सिस बैंक, HDFC ऑफ कोर्स, SBI, दीज आर गोइंग टू प्ले एन इंपॉर्टेंट रोल. बैंक निफ्टी के साथ मैं हमेशा CNX फाइनेंस को देखता हूँ एंड इट्स गिविंग मी वेरी वेरी सिमिलर चार्ट्स. दे आर मोर और लेस वेरी identical because of the weightage. But what will be interesting to see the PSU bank and the private sector. The PSU bank recently, after a very steady correction, आपको दिखेगा ये steady correction के बाद, recently over the last couple of month and a half, it has gone crazy volatile. And a lot of it has to do with one stock, State Bank of India. How are we positioned? It's difficult. Means if I have to trade banks, I'll rather look at private sector banks, honestly, if you ask me. And because of the fact that it's so volatile, the range expansion, generally stop losses are very wide. How is it positioned? Weekly is just trying not to fall. This was the fall, and the last 4-5 weeks is trying not to fall. But it's not managing to sustain also on the upside. It's giving back and attempting. So a lot of volatility. ऐसे range bound, high range bound market से, sector से दूर रहे तो better है. Unless you are trying to sell the top and buy the bottom, it's not easy. So I will stay away from PSU Bank. But I would like to see how the private sector banks are playing out. And when I see the Nifty private bank, I do not get a pretty picture from the weekly. And I do not get a very nice picture from the daily either. Same thing, you can see 25,400, 50% mark of the red line. So iska low can lead to fresh downside. However, the trend and momentum has improved, sir. Both of them have improved, yes. And it has created a huge red HAGB. We consider this Heiken dojis को as a sign of consolidation. So sir, जब तक इसका high नहीं निकाल देता ना, I cannot confirm the trend momentum sync that well. Got it? So bullishness आने को बहुत ऊपर जाने के बाद bullishness आएगा, sustain करने के बाद फिर से ना चढ़ा के तोड़ दे जो कि Thursday किया था, लेकिन bearishness बहुत जल्दी आ जाएगा. What I'm trying to say is where the market is positioned right now, bearish trigger बहुत पास है, bullish trigger काफी दूर है. So if you are a long only trader, थोड़ा सा ठंड लीजिए. Don't get too excited. Too excited से बात, the macroeconomic parameters seems to be mostly that is coming out is not, I'm not going to say they are bad, but the tendency of these macroeconomic parameters tends to be little concerning. The GDP numbers were surprisingly weak, which came on Friday. But I'm not a macroeconomic guy, though my honors was in this subject. I understand these concepts, but I also understand charts, and I understand charts better than macroeconomics, or probably both equally. But nevertheless, I respect the price more. So, food inflation, dollar, crude. We are a country that imports inflation, if you understand what I'm saying. So things can go little wary, There's ambiguity whether the Fed will do anything this year. Now that Trump is going to take charge. It's already taking charge. There's also doubt that the RBI will reduce its rates or not. I'm doubtful. Now RBI will have to. Earlier they were saying no, we will not looking at the food inflation. Now that the GDP is surprisingly low, whether they will be under any pressure to drop the rates or not. So it's going to be really, really not only the charts and trading and sectors, but macroeconomic parameters also are in a situation where it's tug of war there. ठीक है, चलिए quickly rest of the sectors देख लेते हैं. So we are in a very nice situation, and in these kind of chaotic situations, I don't know whether it's chaotic or not. Let's mildly use the word chaotic. It's not chaotic, but these kind of chaotic situation, uncertainties tend to create opportunities. So अपने को थोड़ा सा अपना ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा. We cannot afford. Then generally bull market and bear market participants को सुस्त बना देता है. बुल मार्केट हाँ चल रहा है, पैसा बन रहा है, टूट रहा है दुख के मारे. दोनों मार्केट मुझे लगता है ट्रेडर्स को सुस्त कर देता है. These are the markets जहाँ पे ट्रेडर्स थोड़े वर्कआउट करते हैं. So you have to work out. चलिए let's quickly talk about CNX Auto. Weekly not good. Daily forming some bit of divergences with the T1, M1 are trend and momentum indicators. Structurally not that good. Stay away if you're a long only trader. If you're a derivatives trader, look for those stocks which have bounced back and may give you a sell on a rise. So auto, I would stay away. It's still a negative chart. Energy, deeply oversold, trend momentum sink on the downside. And after a series of, strong sell-offs, it's trying to give a meaningful bounce back. Momentum has just started to improve. Our Heiken behavior has just improved. But I seriously doubt how much of a bounce back it will be able to sustain. Reliance will be a very important stock in this pack. So keep an eye on this. In our last class, I think Friday's class, someone was asking about Bollinger Bands. Remember? So मैंने जानबूझ के Bollinger Band को daily chart पे plot करके रखा है. Because going forward now, I'll keep an eye on which are the stocks or charts जहाँ पे W bottom बन रहा है. I hope you understand what is a W bottom in terms of Bollinger Band. So energy also, I'm not that confident. CNX Finance we have discussed. FMCG, one of the early sellers, weakness amongst the sectoral indices, managed a first leg bounce back. काफ़ी महीने बाद ऐसा एक bounce back देखने को मिला है, which has kind of reversed the momentum and the trend and has given us a small little red HAGB on Friday. It's just given us a bounce back. From a trading point of view, you may look at those stocks which have consolidated. From a short-term trading point of view, you can take a short-term quick chance on the upside or on the downside. I consider these kind of situations to be make or break. मतलब Friday का range is going to give us a make or break situation. ठीक है? So identify your stocks accordingly. IT sell off came quite sharp. आपको ये बार चार्ट पे दिखेगा, especially on Thursday. Now Nasdaq and US IT stocks were also weak and it triggered a bit of weakness. Overall अगर हम ये सब न्यूज़ को साइड में रखें और स्ट्रक्चर एंड मोमेंटम को देखें, this is one of the finest chart at the current juncture. In terms of price, in terms of trend, in terms of the other parameters, one of the finest charts. It is structurally in a nice short-term uptrend. It has given deeper retracements, and every time it has given such a retracement, it has bounced back. So, can it bounce back this time? It's giving us what we like to call as a thunder setup. हम इस ऐसे setups को thunder setup बुलाते हैं, but we also trade the Heikin-Ashi, so I would like to see some strength coming in from Heikin-Ashi. ठीक है? So this is not bearish. It's still a fairly bullish chart. I need to keep this back of my head very clearly that the weekly chart had given me a breakout last week and it doesn't seem to have sustained that well. अगर मैं weekly chart को zoom in करके bar chart करता हूँ, then this is what you will see. The breakout and not able to sustain. It's too early to call it a breakout failure. It's too early. But हाँ, अगर daily chart, this red Heikins, if they bounce back and open up, you might get this leg on the downside. Should you take, if you get this move on the downside, should you trade this move on the downside? Yes, if you're a short-term trader and you are hit and run, you do not have any strong emotional attachment to your trades because you're shorting a strong sector. आपको झट से cover करना है. If you're that kind of a trader, yes. But if you see yourself, no sir, जब मैं trade लेता हूँ ना, I expect और मिलेगा and that kind, फिर आप short मत कीजिए because they might reverse quickly. Metal. Okay, now this is one interesting, important sector for the next week. Especially if the market fails to sustain, especially if the market comes down, I will be looking whether the metals are breaking or not. Why sir? ऐसा क्या है? It's in a downtrend and a down momentum on the weekly time frame, synced on the downside. The daily charts have given multiple bounce backs and it is now also giving a bounce back. Right? It's got a tinge of negative hidden divergence on the daily time frame as well. Structurally, the daily chart is also weak. I see the daily chart as a weak chart bouncing back and nothing more than that. I see a weak daily chart which is bouncing back supported by definite weakness from the weekly time frame. So all you know, if going forward and if you zoom in, you will see last week was an inside bar. आपको दिख रहा है? Last week का zone उसके previous zone के अंदर था. So for all you know, if last week's low is compromised, we might get some weakness. But Jindal, JSW, Tata Steel, others held relatively better this week, which just gone by. इसीलिए इसका जो bounce back था, इसीलिए इसको Thursday को selling नहीं देखा उतना sharp. They held well. So I'll be keenly watching them कि if we get the breakdown on Nifty next week, क्या metals अपना previous week का low तोड़ेगा कि नहीं? If yes, Tata Steel, ferrous stocks, especially ferrous stocks, is something you should look at. Or else, if it sustains, then it will be a good sign. Then अपने को trend momentum reversal दिखेगा and all that things. So metals important. Pharma did really well on Friday. 2% gain coming in from pharma. Is it worth buying into? Too early. Too early to comment on that. Weekly charts have gone through a correction. Weekly has given a green HSGB, and you know very well how important is weekly low. Weekly low is going to be important for any sell trigger. Daily has given the first leg of move, the more than 50% retracement. जैसे मैंने आज बता रहा था आपको कि अगर बाजार यहाँ से नीचे आता है 50% retrace हो ही सकता है. That's exactly what pharma has done recently, and now it's giving the next move. It's looking promising. We have to be stock specific, maybe a DVs, but we have to be very careful. All right. Sun Pharma, DVs, Dr. Reddy, these are the 3 stocks you should keep in eye. One thing I'm going to tell you about the pharma pack is the pharma consolidated here before it gave us this move down. When a stock, when an index, and we will probably see this in Sun Pharma also, when you find these kind of consolidation/congestion, when price comes back to that zone, the polarity kicks in. यहाँ से ना एक short term selling opportunity मिलता है, especially for derivatives trader, of course. If that happens, if you see that few of the names have gone up a little bit and slowing down, like a Cipla or a Sun Pharma, be careful. If you're a long only trader, you would not want to buy them at that juncture. Then finally, realty and consumer durables. Interesting over here because the move is exceptionally good. Direction wise, momentum wise, and it is going through a congestion. Small little pennant behavior. Weekly, nothing great. I will call this again make or break based on Thursday's high and Friday's low. Please understand, and I did explain and mention this in mention this in most of my classes, that majority of the market's directional behavior is highly dependent on the Nifty. So overall market, if the Nifty comes down, then the chances, no matter how strong the bullish setup is or was, the chance that it will soften, it might come down. So this make or break is not make or break from the charts perspective, but lot to do with the Nifty's perspective. इसका मतलब अगर Nifty break होता है और आपका रियलिटी या फिर कोई भी सेक्टर मेटल्स मेक और ब्रेक में है, तो वो सब ब्रेक्स काम करेगा. ये ब्रेक हो रहा है और उसमें मेक हो रहा है, यू ट्राई नॉट टू ट्रेड देम. ठीक है. ट्राई एंड अलाइन द डायरेक्शन ऑफ योर ट्रेड with the direction of the market. If the market is giving you a proper directional move, then easily most of the trades आपके सही जाएंगे. Another sector that I'm going to keep a very close look at next week is consumer durables. Why so? Because I have a good looking short term reversal. Momentum is supportive and it is going through a 4-day pennant looking consolidation. If I zoom in, I see the Thursday's price behavior creating an outside bar. Again, the same word, make or break. How bad is the make or how bad is the break? Equal. मतलब अगर break होता है, यहाँ तक आने का chance is very high, और अगर make होता है, short covering इसको लेके यहाँ तक लेके आ जाएगा. So we have a decent amount of move, I would say, in both the make side and the break side. ऐसा ही बाजार है, and from a trading point of view, आपका भी mindset ऐसा ही होना चाहिए. Short term moves, get out. Short term moves, get out. Unless we get some clarity. और मुझे दिखता नहीं है that anytime soon we are going to get that clarity. Nothing is going to happen exceptionally well in the next quarter or so that can turn around. Things have just started to plateau out and just take a bend on the downside. So gravity may pull it. Things can quickly start to become bad. I don't want to sound bearish. Neither do I want to give you false hopes. ठीक है? So that's our overall market analysis. Like every Saturday. Now let's move ahead and take a look at your doubts and questions.